Okay, welcome back to the carp care series. Today we're going to talk about a European style carp net. Now, as you can see here, it's a lot different from a traditional net from the United States or even other places. Very slim handle, and the net, as you can see, is totally different from what you see here. Very small holes, and it's a very fine mesh. A lot of times here you'll see these big holed nets, and they have giant knots. And that's really bad for carp because it actually rips all the scales as you go to lift it up. Now, this here being a real fine mesh, it also doesn't pull any slime off of the fish. So when we go to net to fish, just like that, it's already soaked with water because it was in the water, and it's not going to remove any slime whatsoever. Now, the other thing too is these aren't designed to actually lift the fish. It's basically designed to use for leverage. You have a 6-foot handle, and then it's made to reach out into the water and then pull the fish back towards you. And then, as you can see here, this is what's referred to as a net float, and this is made by Tracker also, just like the net. And basically what we have here is this will float on top of the water. That way, if you put your net out into the water as you're fighting the fish, that way it's there right for you instead of sinking to the bottom. Now, one feature about this, the arms actually pop out. So as soon as you net the fish and let it rest for a minute in the net, you actually pop out the arms, and I'll show you in a minute. I'm actually going to show you how I do this in the water, and my cameraman will stand behind me so you can kind of see from a first-person view how exactly I do this. So the other tip too is I either use a bank stick or a rock. The end of my handle here, I have it sitting up a little bit. That way when I'm fishing by myself, I can hurry up and reach the handle really easily. And these are really lightweight. These aren't heavy whatsoever. It's just I don't even know how many pounds, but it's really light. That way I can hurry up and whip it around and get ready to net the fish. So let's go down to the water right here, and I'll show you how I do all this. So basically, right now, I have the handle on the rock right here, and pretend that I have my right hand holding the rod. All I'm going to do, come down, grab the net, use my arm as leverage, and put it out into the water. And you can see right now, the net float keeps that net on top. That way it doesn't sink down, because water weight is really hard to lift the net off the bottom. So as I get the fish, I walk out, and then as it approaches, what I do is I extend the net, because you have a 6-foot pole plus the net itself. I aim it down, and what I do is I kind of push it down to the bottom a little bit. When I go to the net, all I do is kneel down, and I'll put the butt of the rod into my side. I'll pull back so that fish has just enough room to come right into the net. And be gentle, that way if it tries to go darting off again, you're not going to pull a hook. As soon as the mouth of the fish hits right here, that's when I lift up on the net. I see a lot of guys try to lift up as soon as it hits the edge. Well, as soon as it does a quick spin, it's right out of your net. So I'm sitting here just like this, rod back, and then I lift up on the fish. At this point, then I can stand up with it. And usually what I do is I'll put my rod right here and then kind of bring this around. And I just sit here for a minute, like I said, with that fish in the net. And when I'm ready to go, usually I'll just put my rod down in the water, pull out a little line just so it doesn't have any tension on that fish, and simply push this against your side. Take your hand like this and press inwards with your thumb. Now these will stick just a little bit, but you don't want them to come out too easy or it'll just pop out all the time. So all I do, put my thumb right here in the spreader block and pop it out and pull. So then I can take this part of my net, lay it down, make sure it's on the bank, that way it's not going to float away, of course. And what I do now is I have the net just like this. And what I'm going to do is start to roll up the net until I get down to the fish. Roll down, and at this point, once I start getting close to the fish, and make sure the fins are folded back, you can kind of move it with your hand on both sides. Once I feel that the fish is, the fins are back, then I can lift up with both hands and then walk it back to my unhooking mat. Now you can actually put this into a sling and walk it back, or you can carry it with a net. Just be careful, obviously the fish still might want to jump. But that's basically what we do, and we're going to walk it back. Two hands, of course. You don't want to chance it with just one hand. Even though you're strong enough to do that, if that fish jumps, then there's a good chance you're going to drop it. And what I'll do is I'll put it down onto my hooking mat and keep my hands down, that way if it tries to jump, just like that. And then I just start to unwind it like this. And of course, my mat is still soaking wet from when I put the water there with the bucket, probably like an hour, 2 hours previously. And I fold the net out. And the first thing I do is pull this back from the fish's mouth. I put the lead off to the side, that way it's not going to hurt itself when it flops around. And I'll pop the hook out. And then what I'll do is I'll pick up the fish and then push the net and then put the fish onto the hooking mat or the sling like you have here. Once it's out of the net, I just set it aside like this. That way it's out of the way because I'm not going to use that anymore. And then I go off to the sling, or if it's just on the unhooking mat. So that's basically how to use your Euro net. The other thing that people do all the time, they try to lift it up with the fish in the net. That is guaranteed to break your net every single time. These nets are not designed to lift fish. Except for what I showed you right here with the mesh itself, the handle is not designed to pick up heavy weights. It's designed to extend, lift up the net so you can get the fish, and then the rest is all done with the net. Because I keep seeing people break these, and I just kind of wonder, maybe they don't know, the difference between a European style net and then an American net. The American nets are like heavy aluminum. You can pick them up, but like I said, the knots usually damage the fish, and there's really big holes in there, so then the hook gets stuck, and it's a pretty big mess sometimes. But like I said, these are 100% fish friendly, and that's why we use them for the different carp care. So I hope you enjoyed that, and off to the next video.